My first connection was with my deep connection with soldiers. And that's when I started questioning the state. Because I was mad. I was really mad.
Yeah, your opinions and your thoughts. A lot of people, have that same sentiment. But then there's the flip side of it, where you may be totally unaware of, this conspiracy, or this propaganda and lies that creates this. But that's what it is. Like war is like a full communication cycle. There are lies, half truths, propaganda, misinformation, disinformation. Like this is the art of war. If you read some CIA manual on how to organize a army, so much of it deals with conditioning, indoctrination, propaganda distribution, node networks, all this stuff. So, welcome to the science of politics and war. And if you're smart, and then hopefully you survive and you thrive. And then maybe if you thrive, you uh, modify it. But I'm just saying there's nothing new under the sun. So to get upset about what has been happening throughout human history for thousands of years, grow up, kid. Welcome to the real world.
The grow up part is interesting. That's an interesting statement to end with, because what does it really mean to grow up? To me, I feel like I'm surrounded by a bunch of adult babies who don't have the ability to emotionally regulate themselves, and especially country to country, we haven't figured out, how to just, I don't know. That's a big problem for me, especially leaders. What's going on with Palestine and Israel, right? Is there any type of, you find these, they say the pendulum swings, so you have extremes on both sides. But does anybody really think that that's okay, what's going on over there?
Yeah, justice. El Normo is here. He can defend Israel better than anyone.
Yeah, yesterday I read an article about a doctor who went to work, and 9 of her 10 children were killed by an Israeli strike. Is that justice?
Are you sure it's not fake news?
It's, yeah, we got to know more about it. It certainly sounds tragic, but you really can't trust Hamas. They're just liars and killers and savages. So until the war is over, I don't think we're going to know what's really going on or what happened, unfortunately. Or fortunately.
Have you heard of Gabor Mate?
No.
So he's like this physician, and he's Jewish, and he was pretty frustrated about the whole situation over there.
It's frustrating. They need to get the hostages back and surrender right away. Hamas. They could have done it October 10th, 2023. They want this to happen. If they didn't, then they'd surrender and give the hostages back.
If you could steel man the best possible steel man of why they have not, what would your opinion be?
They want to bring death and destruction on Israel and on themselves, and then proclaim to the world, look what the Jews did to us. They want to rile up the Jew haters. They are savage, suicidal, maniacal, barbaric murderers with no God. That's my steel man, their position.
Very interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gabor Mate, he
Gabor Mate, yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, I'm pronouncing it wrong?
No, I'm not saying that. I just, I've read him for years.
Is it Gabor? Is that how you pronounce it? Tell me the truth. It's Gabor. Gabora? Okay. Gabor.
It's Hungarian. Yeah. And his son is another one.
Did you see his documentary?
No. I've heard him, though. He's got a mental issue. He's a messed up guy. Something happens to certain Jews and they sort of turn against the Jews. it's a psychological problem. I mean, Hamas promised to do this over and over. Israel has a responsibility to protect its citizens. And to, certainly, we have every right to come and get our hostages.
Are you talking about Gabor Mate?
Yeah.
I thought he has a daughter that's deranged.
Oh. I didn't know that.
But before the October 7th, I was a big fan of his work.
Me too. He's good on ADD. I think his book is called Scattered.
Yeah, he's good on that. He's good on trauma. He's good on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Well, he did a documentary called Where Olive Trees Weep.
Yeah.
What year was that?
It's after October 7th, so it's between then and a few months ago.
These people have to decide to live peacefully with their neighbors, but they want war, so we're giving them what they want. And when they have a unique opportunity. If and when they want the war to end, all they have to do is say, okay, we're going to be peaceful now, and here are your people back. But they have committed atrocities.
That's true, Norm, but we have a very right-wing government, so I don't know that it's as simple as them saying, all right, here's the hostages, now give us a state.
Who said give us a state?
I mean, that's what they claim to want, at least in the words.
Whoever said that? Who says they want a state?
I mean, what they want is to destroy Israel. But,
right.
What?
They offered a state numerous times and rejected it, which is baffling.
I mean, honestly, Bima, I mean, if you want to steel man the argument, it's really like a propaganda scam. It goes back to communication theory and all communication being politic or spam or projection or hypnosis. So, I mean, October 7th was the needle in the haystack or the tipping point in this conflict where, I mean, have you ever been to a concert, Bima, and been taken hostage or killed? No, you haven't. You're here right now talking to us. But if your sister was taken hostage and is sitting in somebody's tunnel right now in Gaza, you would have a different opinion. But unfortunately, the spam has been so much and so huge and so persistent and projected so much by the algorithms that we have millions upon millions of people that never mention the word law, never mention the word justice, never talk about terrorism, peace, and security. I mean, these are important concepts for any country and any group of people that want to live a good life. And unfortunately, what they did on October 7th was so dastardly and terrible that it can't be forgotten. And justice has to be pursued by the citizens of Israel to make sure that that doesn't happen to their brothers and sisters and cousins anymore. I mean, enough is enough. I mean, every Friday, Saturday night, you got rockets being shot, from Gaza. I mean, let it go. Live in peace. And if you can't let it go and live in peace, well, then the meek shall inherit the earth. And it's an inferior fighting force. They will be destroyed and the hostages will be liberated. It's only a matter of time and a question of what is the best way to go about solving this equation.
I mean, isn't that the argument, though, that it's they can't live in peace because of what's being done to like this small 20-mile?
Are you saying that they can't live in peace because of the oppressive nature of Israel onto Palestine? That, in other words, the Palestinians would love to live in peace if only Israel would stop poking them? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just.
I'm not even about to jump on you or jump down your throat. I'm just trying to clarify and understand what you're saying.
Oh, okay, no problem. Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. But if you think of by the way, I'm not a professional in any capacity. I'm not claiming to be a Google scholar, right? But psychologically, self-taught. So the human condition. Am I made to believe that these humans don't have the same natural self-interest psychologically, like
Yes,
every other?
I would try to make you believe that. I would expect you to be made to believe that. People have different definitions around the world of freedom and security and peace. And for some people, freedom and security and peace might be like, I might think, you might think this. You might think, I'll be at peace when I get home to my front porch with a pina colada. Then I'll be at peace. But for Jeffrey Dahmer, he wasn't at peace unless he was drilling through the skull of a young gay boy and then fucking his skull hole. Because Jeffrey Dahmer was a deranged psychopath. So for Jeffrey Dahmer, his definition of peace was skull fucking a young F word. But my definition of peace is smoking a bowl and talking to my friend John. The Israelis' definition of peace is smoking a bowl and talking to your friend John. The Palestinians' definition of peace is killing Israelis. So there won't be peace for Palestinians. It doesn't matter if there's a music festival or a pina colada or not. If Israel is in existence, the Palestinians will not be at peace, because peace will not be achieved in their perspective until Israel is destroyed.
What do you think that the root of that is? Do you think that there's...
That's a great question. My first guess is that it has something to do with religion. What is the root of the religion? I don't know. But have you ever heard this quote? It's not a quote from the Quran. It's from the Hadiths. Do you know what the Hadiths are? Hadith?
Yeah, isn't it part of the Islamic sacred texts, Hadith, security?
Yes, and as I understand it, and somebody like John or somebody could correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, the Hadiths were not part of the Quran, but they were like teachings from the mouth of Muhammad. So they were lectures or essays or hadiths or sayings or something that Muhammad said. It's not in the official Quran, but it's kind of like the Talmud for Jews, where the Talmud is things that rabbis have said, and the hadiths are things that Muhammad has said, basically. For the purposes of this conversation, that's good enough. And so there's this one hadith that's a really popular hadith, and I have seen this written on protest signs more than 5 times, maybe 10. I've seen a bunch of pictures of people at protests around the world holding a sign, like their signs might say, "Free Palestine now," or, "Let Gaza live," or something. I have also seen protest signs that say, "The rocks and trees must speak." Are you familiar with this line? Even the rocks and trees must speak?
No.
So there's a famous hadith where it's something, I'm going to misquote it, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it's something like this. It says basically, "The hour of judgment will not be at hand until you fight with the Jew. And behind every rock and stone, a Jew will be hiding. And the rocks and trees and stones will cry out to you, 'Oh, Muslim, a Jew is hiding behind me. Come and kill him.'" So you can Google any part of that and find the exact quote. If you just Google "rocks and trees, a Jew is hiding behind me," you'll find the full quote. Something like, "The hour of judgment will not be at hand until you fight with the Jew. The Jew will be hiding behind every rock and tree, and the rocks and trees will say, 'Hey, a Jew is behind me. Come and kill this Jew and rape his sister and cut off his head and then put it on Telegram because, hey, Muslim, cut off a Jew's head and put it on Telegram.'" So I don't know what the origin of the hatred is. Like, I don't know why Muhammad said that disgusting thing. I also don't know why Muhammad, jizzed all over his 9-year-old wife and then had his friends pick off the jism with their fingernails, but that's in there somewhere too. It's like, if you jizz on your 9-year-old wife, have your friend pick off the jism with his fingernails. I don't fucking know about that either. But it's at least partially related to their stupid religion, I would say. It's partially related.
Now, what do you think happened? Like, so during the Ottoman Empire, weren't they like just kind of just doing their own thing for like some 400 something years?
Who do you mean by they?
I'd say what would be understood as Palestine, or at least that area.
I would say largely I agree with you. I would say under the Ottoman Empire, they, meaning the Palestinians, were kind of doing their own thing. Now, you need to understand some intricacies with this idea. First of all, what do you mean by they, the Palestinians? Under the Ottoman Empire, Jews, Christians, and Muslims were all Palestinians. Under the Ottoman Empire, Jews, Christians, and Muslims all lived together in the land known as Palestine. And under the Ottoman Empire, because the Ottomans were in control, the Jews, Christians, and Muslims who lived in the land were kind of doing their own thing. And even in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when the first Jewish Zionists started purchasing more and more land from Arab landowners under the Ottoman Empire, nobody really had a problem with it. It wasn't, there's always been, when the Muslims are in charge, the Jews are second-class citizens. The Jews have to pay a tax, which is called a jizya. Jews could be subject to random violence or expropriation of their funds or possessions or some sort of other oppressive bullshit when the Muslims are in charge. But when the Ottomans were in charge, the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians, as you said, they were kind of all doing their own thing. The issue was when the Ottoman Empire collapsed, the British took over, and then the British wanted to relinquish control. So the idea that was devised was the British was going to relinquish control, and they were going to have split the land in half. It was going to be half Israel over here for the Jews and half Palestine over there for the Muslim Arabs and for anybody else who didn't want to be part of Israel. The Christians probably could be part of either one. If they didn't mind living in a Jewish nation, they could be part of Israel. If they didn't want to be part of a Jewish nation, they could be part of Palestine. And it really would have been fine. Except the problem is the Muslims didn't want to accept the existence of a Jewish state. They said, we're fine being neighbors with the Jews if we can control them. We're fine being neighbors with the Jews if they don't have power. We're fine being neighbors with the Jews if they have to pay the jizya. We're fine being neighbors with the Jews if I can beat them up whenever I want to. But do I want to live next door to a Jewish nation? No. I'm fundamentally opposed to the existence of a Jewish nation, and I'm going to stop at nothing to block or destroy the Jewish nation. That, I think, is when they went from doing their own thing to fighting. Was when the Jews wanted to make a Jewish nation, the Muslim Arabs said, no, we don't want you to do that, and I'll kill you if you try to do that. I'll kill you. That's what I think. Any other brain busters?
Do you are you a free will or determinist type fella?
I think I'm both. I think it's both. I think it's not.
Compatibilist?
I had never heard that word before, but sure. You know, my friend John Kitover loves to say this beautiful thing, which is that there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. And maybe that could mean that everything is predetermined. But I think that we still have choices to make. And so I think I believe in free will, for sure. But I also... What are we making a free will decision? Like, what are you referring to?
It was just a question. I'm trying to understand you.
I believe in free will.
You know, what's the most fucked up thing about war is, and even death, is that, you know, Bima, you're concerned about some innocent child in the Gaza Strip. I mean, but can you even tell me the names of 10 people that died on 9/11, died in Iraq, died in Afghanistan? No, you can't. Nobody knows the names of any of these people when they're dead. When you're dead, you're dead. You disappear. You know? It's fucked up. But there's no memorial service on Memorial Day that specifically cites anybody, what they did, you know, whether how they died in battle or how a terrorist filleted them, you know, at some barbecue. I mean, it's fucked up. So life is, you know, in many ways it is like a simulation or like some type of a game. And the smarter you are, hopefully, you know, you don't have any bad luck. I mean, people take a lot of risks in their lives. I mean, the people on October 7th that went into, you know, the what was the name of the festival? See, that's the thing. Nobody even knows the name of the festival. What was it called? Anyhow, the point is they made a miscalculation on that day. I'm Nova Festival. I'm sure 80% of those people that decided to go do that attack are no longer on the planet. So, or breathing. Maybe the remains are still on the planet. So I don't know. Bima, life is just a series of coordinated decisions, and hopefully you make good decisions because you have good thoughts. When you decide to go kill people at a concert, you're not having a good day. You're having bad thoughts, and you will have bad outcomes. I mean, that saying, you know, live by the sword, die by the sword, it's just a maxim. It's true. If you're going to go commit violence, there's a very high probability chance that you will die by violence. And it will be redirected back towards you, opposite and equal reaction. You know, it's called physics. So I don't know. Welcome. You know.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Bima, would you say that you are in favor of a freeing Palestine? You support Palestine here in general?
I don't like to move in collectives, but what I don't support is the murder of innocent people.
But then, if you don't support the murder of innocent people, wholeheartedly support Israel in their attempts to remove Hamas from power, because Hamas very much believes in the murder of innocence.
Now, Goblin 92, that's an excellent analysis of what you're witnessing
to the murder of innocent people. So what's confusing is a lot of people say, I don't care about Israel, I don't care about Palestine. I just am opposed to the innocence, to the indiscriminate slaughter of civilians. If you're opposed to the indiscriminate slaughter of civilians, you should be opposed to Hamas, and you should be generally supportive of Israel's mission to remove Hamas, because Hamas kills civilians.
So,
like on purpose, you know, on purpose.
So that may be true. That may be true. Okay. My issue is how many people died on October 7th?
I think like 1,200 or 1,300 or something like that.
And how many people have died in Palestine since October 7th?
Well, yeah, but I mean, do you think that Israel is wrong simply because they've killed more people?
Yeah, I do. Do I think they're wrong because they've killed more people? Not just killed more people. It's a more innocent people.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like an analogy, and I just got one. Okay, so you're a woman, I'm a man. We're not going to get in a fist fight. This example involves us being in a fist fight. I'm not trying to be in a fist fight with you under any circumstance. I don't even fucking know you. But I respect you, and I don't want to be in a fist fight with you. But let's say you and I are in a fist fight, okay? And you kick me in the balls. Kick me right in the balls. And then I get pissed off and I punch you in the face 200 times. I punched you in the face 200 times. You kicked me in the balls 1 time. Which of us fought with more honor?
See, but that's just you and I. It's more, the analogy would be more accurate if it was just like you come and
you kill your sister, and then in retaliation you kill my whole family.
Right.
Which one of us is to blame for that?
Right. That's you. This is where the collective. I think that the collective idea is that it's a disease, and it's used specifically to hijack morality, to sort of allow people to feel the escapism of being able to not want to take the accountability of killing an innocent person. If you've killed an innocent person, I don't care who or what has happened around you. You have killed innocent people. That is, you need to be held accountable for that. That is you.
Here's another analogy. Maybe this is better because it doesn't. Okay, rather than you kicking me in the balls and me punching you 200 times, what if we're in a classroom together and you are sitting behind me in the classroom and you are flicking my ear? You flick my ear, 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 and then I turn around and smack you in the face. I would go to the principal's office, and you might even not have to go to the principal's office because all you did was maybe even not even flick my ear. Maybe you're like bouncing your chair and you're rattling my chair. I'm like, stop, stop. Finally, I turn around and maybe I don't even smack you in the face. Maybe I yell at the top of my lungs, fucking stop. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fucking stop. I disrupted the class. You did not. All you did was kind of needle me. And so the way this compares to Israel and Palestine, I think, is that the Palestinians are like sending rockets, sending rockets, sending rockets, sending rockets, sending rockets. These rockets are not hurting anybody for a variety of reasons. Number one, they're shitty rockets. They just lob them randomly into the heart of town, indiscriminately targeting civilians. They don't care who they hurt or kill. They just hope that the rocket fucks somebody up. And also, so it's a shitty rocket. It's not targeted. And also, Israel's full of bomb shelters. And they have the Iron Dome. So when the rockets come in, the rockets are not really doing as much damage as one Israeli rocket. But the thing is that you don't really understand is there are rocket attacks against Israel like pretty much all day, every day. I mean, I have a siren app on my phone that goes off whenever a rocket is targeting Israel. It goes off every day. So some part of Israel is being targeted by rockets every single day. And it's like the rattling of the chair, and then I scream in your face because, yes, these rockets that you're firing, if you're the Palestinians, the rockets that the Palestinians are firing, no, they're not doing as much damage as the Israeli rockets. But, you know, there's a question of who started it, and there's a question of who's keeping it going. If there's a week of peace, and then a rocket comes into Israel, I would say that's the Palestinians flicking the ear or rattling the chair. And when the Israelis say, stop, 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 and then the 10th time they bomb the entire fucking village, you know, it is, Israel is causing more damage. Israel is causing more death. But I don't think that that means that they are automatically morally wrong, because there aren't any bomb shelters in Palestine, and the Palestinians like to maximize civilian casualties because it makes them look more like a victim. So if they send a rocket into Israel and it doesn't hurt anybody, and then a rocket gets sent back to Palestine and 20 Palestinians are killed, in the mind of the Palestinians, they won the exchange because, yes, 20 Palestinians died. That's very sad. But all of those Palestinians went to heaven. That's very good. And also, it made Israel look bad, and that's very good. So I don't think the argument just because more Palestinians are dying means that Israel should stop attacking, should just let, like at this point, Israel's killed way more Palestinians than Palestinians have killed Israelis. So if we're just going for equal numbers, that means the Israelis have to sit back for the next 20 years and wait until like 30,000 more Israelis have been killed, and then maybe we're heading towards equal. But I don't think that that's necessarily like the simplest path to peace, is just let's wait till we've killed an equal number of each other and then let's stop. I think it's more complex than that, basically.
Part of your problem is you're out of the now, meaning that this whole argument always takes you out of the now. And so when you say, 50,000 Palestinians have been killed, but only 1,500 died at the supernova fast, those are totally disproportionate numbers in terms of killing. It should be more of an equal number, So the point is, historically, if you look at conflicts, the U.S. has a force doctrine of 10-1. We generally lose one soldier for every 10 enemy combatants that we kill. That's the numbers. Those are the rules of engagement, meaning that as a commander, you shouldn't go engage in a battle unless you can expect to kill 10 enemy soldiers for every one U.S. personnel who loses his life. That's like a force doctrine. But secondly, when you start doing this, it becomes political. And so it takes you out of the now, and you actually become an extension of the conditioning you've experienced. I've hung out. I like Arabs. I like their food. I like their music. And, I'm not even going to criticize Islam, because I think being a polygamist, maybe they're onto something there. Maybe not. But the point is, this is the song that never ends, and it becomes spam, and it becomes politic, and it becomes projection, and then it becomes hypnosis, and it's a waste of time. And so part of this whole experiment called your life is to essentially stop playing in the spam game and the conditioning game of yourself. If you want to be free, you have to know that, you are, the more you speak, the more you think, the further from the truth you're going to get. You end up just becoming a propagandist and a political distributor of communication. So I don't know. Those are my opinions. Go ahead, baby.
I believe that everybody has the right to self-defense, 110%. I believe that if somebody aggresses upon a peaceful person or their property, they have the right to defend themselves. I also believe that when you seek to defend yourself, if you are killing innocent people that had nothing to do with the harm that was caused upon you, you are now also you are to blame for them, and you are creating another victim. You are not absolved of not creating another victim. You've now returned.
Many people say that October 7th was an act of self-defense, and what it literally was Palestinians attacking Israeli civilians because they're mad at the existence of the state of Israel. If they were only attacking, that would be one thing, but that's not what happened. They drove through towns and they entered people's homes at 7 a.m. and killed them in their homes. Random people. Like, imagine if some home right now and shot you. Like, that's what it would be like. And that's not self-defense. Going into somebody's home while they're chatting on Clown House with John Kitover and shooting them is not self-defense. That's an act of aggression. So that's why the Israelis are so mad at the Palestinians, because the Palestinians keep attacking indiscriminately, but they're claiming that it's self-defense. It's absurd.
Well, I actually was coming from the place of Israel when I said self-defense. So absolutely, I agree with you when these people came and harmed and killed innocent Israelis. That you can consider that self-defense. That's absolutely victim creation. You are creating. You are a murderer. You are an animal. You are barbaric. You have reduced you've removed yourself from the moral calculus. You no longer are eligible for rights reciprocation, and whatever happens to you, so be it. But now tell me what happens when Israel goes to defend itself, and instead of getting the people responsible, then go and create and harm other innocent beings. You are doing the same exact thing. And this wasn't done, we're talking 1,200 people were slaughtered. That if you think one person, being an innocent person, being killed is wrong, how can you justify it happening over 40 October 7th happening to Palestine? It didn't happen. You're talking about 1,200 people on October 7th, and then you're talking about every a couple times every month, 41 times. 41 times. That's how many 41 October 7th have happened in Palestine.
Bima, there's just a word that you're not using, which is war. I mean, you have to really think about the word. What is a war? I mean, the Tao Te Ching says, which is a Chinese book of philosophy, it says that war is a funeral procession and opposing sides are technically observing funeral rites. So, again, just saying 40 October 7th has happened upon the people of Gaza or, Palestinians. It's a funeral procession, and eventually the hostilities will subside, and it will get hashed out, like it will get worked out. But unfortunately, when you're trying to kill a terrorist, and it's in a very densely populated area, you have to still pull the trigger, even though innocent people are going to die. I mean, you can't win unless people die. But it's not even about winning. It's about recognizing the fact that this is all bullshit. All of it is, all violence sucks. There's no disagreement on any of these fundamental, things about living the good life, which is a life of nonviolence. So you just have to understand that you're hyper conditioned to be on one side of the fence when you shouldn't actually. The best place to be is on the fence post, where you're just the observer and you don't have an opinion on the matter. But that still doesn't change what war is, what the word means, what history is, what anger is, what justice is. There's just so many components to this that I think that the worst aspect of this whole thing is really a lot of the people on the outside in the world, outside of this small area of the planet, are spending so much of their few moments of breath on this life even talking about it. So it becomes all spam. And until you realize that, you can't actually even hope to change the equation over there. You may become a propaganda distributor and think that that is impacting some kind of change, but it takes away from your life. So the saying is, if you want to improve the world, you improve yourself. It's the most fundamental way to change the world, is to change yourself, which is really only through education or physical fitness. So again, go read a book and go to the gym, fatties. I am complete.
I don't disagree with that. I would just question, and I love that, right? Take care of yourself first. But I'm not going to be convinced that I'm hyper conditioned to take side X or side Y. I'm a human being who has had experiences. I understand what pain and suffering is. I think, contrary to what you're saying, I think the word war is, I think that's spam. I think that's semantic spam. And I think that that allows people to justify mass injustice, the complete opposite of justice. I think it allows the masses to believe that they're working towards something that's noble and honorable, when in fact it's nothing but a cover to mask yourself, to be able to live the next day to justify the killing of an innocent child, right? Or innocent women, people who are not military combatants. We're talking about civilians. It's not the same. I think that I don't think war is it's not a this neutral descriptor. I think it's been weaponized linguistically. It is the spam. War is the spam. People who turn their blind eye to say, "Oh, it's war." No, it's not. These are people that are turning a blind eye to moral injustice and being able to walk away because it's AKA war. You know, you say.
But Bima,
language is spam. Orwell warned us. Language controls thought, and when words become detached from reality.
I know, but Bima, I mean, I don't know your position on abortion. I heard people in the room saying yesterday, this English cocksucker he's talking about. He's the problem with you fucking Americans is you don't care about what happens in a fucking world, or you don't care about how people are dying in Gaza. And I'm thinking like, well, actually, if every country was just concerned with taking care of themselves, then there would be no conflict on this planet, because it's a little bit like personal responsibility. If everybody was personally responsible, we wouldn't have to have all of this social welfare and all of this debt spending. My point is 100,000 children in this country are aborted every single month. That's 1.2 million a year for $12 billion. I mean, if you're a patriotic American, you should be more concerned about what's happening at your neighborhood Planned Parenthood than about 10 children in Gaza dying from some rocket strike while they're trying to take out some Palestinian terrorist who killed 3 people at the Supernova concert. See, your priorities are all fucked up because your communication intake is all fucked up, and your communication output is all fucked up because your communication input is all fucked up. Call a spade, at least, if you had personal responsibility or patriotic fervor, you'd be more concerned about how your own country is imploding and how we kill 100,000 babies every single month in this country. I mean, do you think some woman, some doctor who facilitates, one abortion a day and makes $450,000 a year doing it because of taxpayer money, do you think that's not an issue? I mean, I can't stand hearing people say, "Oh, these people are dying." It's like, yeah, 100,000 people are getting murdered and their heads are. Have you ever seen baby fetal tissue and seen what a torn up baby looks like? It's the most disturbing video you could ever imagine. Now, if it's a conflict zone where governments or a government is waging a war against a terrorist group of people, I mean, those images are horrific. But when you see baby flesh and dissected babies being put into storage containers, to me, I mean, it's all relative. Like, there's bigger issues to focus on and to communicate about than a lot of these deranged people who just want to talk about Gaza 18 hours a day. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's a logical fallacy, right? Like, can I be worried about abortions in my country and also simultaneously be worried about the hijacking of the word war to create a numbness to let people feel that they less likely are questioning its use and to understand what it actually means?
How is it
you say war? Well, sure, because you say it's psychological programming. It's all spam. It's all communication. You say war. It completely bypasses critical thinking, right? It's gonna trigger instinctive fear, loyalty, tribalism, nationalism, et cetera. And when someone says, "Well, look, they're at war," you immediately get into those us versus them thinking, justification of force, right? Just suspend all the ethical norms that we've ever established through how many, right? And now it's taking murder. It's going to reframe it as duty. It's going to use destruction as defense, and then that's exactly what
you're framing what the word war is.
This is a form of, as comedy says, neuro-linguistic. Hold on, it is a form of neuro-linguistic programming. You're using loaded language to create an automatic emotional response instead of reasoned thought. If a person kills an innocent child, it's murder. If a drone strike does it during a war on terror, it's called unfortunate but necessary. The word war reprograms the moral response from outrage to reluctant acceptance. This is the communication. This is the spam. This is the neuro-linguistic programming that the comedian talks about every day. Come and find his rooms, join his rooms, and you can learn all about it, as I have.
See, the point is, meditation now is the solution, which is silence now. And I hate to break the bad news to you, but your typical terrorist in a tunnel who is willing to die for their cause, they may be praying to Allah, but they're not praying for peace within the Hamas military, structure, and they're not praying for peace in Israel. A lot of people are just totally clueless, and unfortunately, people get caught up in this giant political military industrial complex and communication spam industrial complex. So I don't have any real solutions other than meditation now. That's my opinion. But the word war is raw backwards. I mean, it's very raw. You can't. If you look at history, it's so raw. It's so brutal, and I have no real solutions other than pray for peace and pray for personal salvation, so that hopefully the world can have salvation. But Bima, I mean, happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
I mean, violence sucks, but I mean, in Chicago, 30 people just got blown away this weekend by gunfire. Where's the National Guard to stamp out all the gunfire and all the what I would call domestic terrorism? It would be too racist to go into black neighborhoods with the military to put down the gangbangers who are murdering each other and murdering innocent people. I mean, how far do you take it? That's the problem, is if you decide to go all in, there's negative repercussions. If you decide not to go in at all, there's negative repercussions. You're damned if you speak. You're damned if you stay silent. You're damned if you have an opinion. So, Bima, again, I just go back to that. Again, personal improvement is the only real viable methodology to improve the world and to save your own life. Otherwise, you just become a victim of spam.
Everything that you've heard here today, if you are listening to this, congratulations, you are a victim of spam. I'm not really sure if too many people would be up in arms about stopping criminals. I think the problem is when the coercive force is used to unjustly affect innocent people. You know what I mean? If we were to take the armed National Guard and put them in neighborhoods of a lot of crime, violent crime, who cares? As the idea is, though, is they're likely not going to just affect, attack, or stop the criminals. They're going to be getting in the way and interfering with peaceful lives, with peaceful people that are just going about their lives, just trying to get to work, go home, feed their family. Right? To what extent could you justify that? Defend yourself. Defend yourself.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of brutalized victims. There's a lot of brutalized victims in those neighborhoods that would love to see a presence on the street, because then they wouldn't get bullied by the gangbangers anymore. I mean, it's like hallway justice, that's why they have hall monitors. You need observers to report the facts, to record. I mean, these security cameras, that supposedly record things in these high danger zone areas, they need to dox these people. They need to do facial software recognition and post them on police department websites saying, is this your son? This is who it is. This is a gangbanger who's out on the streets all day long. I mean, dox these people. The court of social justice is really the only court of justice we have nowadays. You know it, I know it. All these courts, all these lawyers and judges, they're all liars and corrupt. They fuck over people left and right. I mean, the divorce courts, the child support courts, these are huge wastes of time, energy, resources. But without it, I mean, then it's just lawless, and there's no supervision and there's no documentation. So again, I would just say that spending time on this app is a form of toxic spam absorption, and it will have negative repercussions on your life. I mean, the book in my PTR, if you've never read that book, it's called The Tao Te Ching. You should read it because it's one of the smartest books ever written. And it talks about all the things we're talking about, but 2,000 years ago, meaning that you're being a victim of spam. This app is a spam distribution platform, just like how Facebook is. Facebook is nothing but one giant spam platform. And then they mix in advertisements, which are more spam. So if you want to become free and enlighten yourself, you have to pick up a book. There's no other way to do it because most people can't just give you a compression of the wisdom. It only really changes your life if you process the words through your brain and then you start to build a comprehension of what you're reading. These are my opinions, but in my opinion, Bima, I've heard you speak on this app for quite a while, and I think you are a victim of spam, and then you regurgitate the spam. That's what you're doing.
Do you know what? I don't find a lot of people that agree with me here. I think usually when I take positions, they're generally the position that has the most ick, you know? I'd like to think that's because I'm not going along with the masses. I like to think that's because I've thought a little bit through what my actual positions are. And that's one thing that you'll find, which I don't think that you'll find with a lot of people, is consistency. You can find with everything that I've ever talked about.
Well, who do you side with, the strong or the weak?
I side with the innocent. I side with the individual who's willing to operate in a realm of voluntary consent and not aggress upon another peaceful person or their property. That's who I side with.
Right.
Who is going to reciprocate rights with me? Who is going to allow me to become the best individual that I possibly can, allow me to become creative, explore my innovations, explore all of the things that I do in this small, short little life that we have, this small little, we're all little artifacts. Who wants to do that? I want to talk to you, and I'll fight next to you as well. Because I don't want to have anything to do with what you want to do with your life. I want to allow you to live peacefully, and I'll fight for that. So let's fight against the people who don't want that. Let's fight against the people who are stuck in fear and scarcity and control.
See, the problem with that is it's still just spam. It's not actual meditation education. I mean, the whole point of meditation is essentially to get past these words, which are all just spam. And until you realize that words are causing these problems, it's just a question of personal development and self-improvement. I just don't see what you're saying actually changing the world, changing people's opinions, or even changing yourself. I think the only way to really change the world is to program yourself through books. And these are memories books are people's entire lives compressed into 100 pages, and they're gone, but their thoughts and their concepts are still there, and people aren't utilizing these books. Unfortunately, most people are just using their cell phones to program their lives, and so therefore we have a huge problem that there will be no peace, there will be no peace because the programming sucks, and your programming is just not effective enough to make any significant change. And when I asked you, who do you side with, the strong or the weak? You said I side with the innocent. So that's part of the problem right there. Is first of all, no one is really innocent for the most part. Everybody ends up being guilty of some type of crime. Nobody's perfect. You know it. I know it. But anyways, happy Memorial Day.
So, chapter 31 of your book on weapons and war. Weapons are the tools of violence. All decent men detest them. Weapons are the tools of fear. A decent man will avoid them except in the direst necessity. Victory by force of arms is not something to be admired. Those who rejoice in victory delight in killing people. There's a condemnation, celebration of war. I don't think what you hear from, well, I'll allow the audience to make their decisions, but what do you hear when you are looking at a war in this world in 2025? What do you hear from both sides? Chapter 69. There's no greater misfortune than underestimating your enemy. Underestimating your enemy means thinking that he is evil. Thus you destroy your 3 treasures and become an enemy yourself. Even in the face of opposition, your book warns against dehumanizing the enemy. War isn't a space for righteousness or ego. It's supposed to be a last resort. It's supposed to be a defense, and it risks destroying your one's virtues. Tao Te Ching, chapter 30. Those who use the Tao to guide rulers do not use force to conquer the world. For every force, there is a counterforce. Violence, even well-intentioned, always rebounds upon itself. Think about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Think about what I said. When you are a victim, and instead of defending yourself only upon the aggressor, the person guilty, you then create more victims. What are you doing? Force and violence upon the innocent, it's self-defeating. This justified war, there's moral, there's spiritual, there's mental harm that's involved. The Tao talks about, you know better than me. This is just quick thumb through. It looks like it's saying harmony, restraint, non-interference.
See, that book, Bima, is about governance, about rulership, about personal development, about wisdom, intelligence, strategy, knowledge. You can do a superficial reading of it, but you should read it, front to back, and record yourself reading it and re-listen to it, because you can read a book superficially, and then the comprehension of the knowledge and integration of that information, which is really comprehension, can be challenging. You can't just read something once. Sometimes you got to read it twice, 3 times, 10 times to really understand it, because there's a lot of hidden messaging in there. A lot of double entendres, triple entendres, relativity. So I don't know. It's a very powerful book because it's programming, and it's programming for success. It's called The Great Way. It's the way. You could say Jesus is the way. So that's why I would encourage you to read that book. But El Normo is here. El Normo, you just missed an interesting conversation about conflict resolution, war, death, life. And happy Memorial Day to you, El Normo.
Happy Memorial Day. How did I miss a good conversation?
Well, Bima was just reading from the Tao Te Ching, which was talking about conflict and how violence blows back at you as the terrorists in Gaza and now the civilian population are experiencing. El Normo, how do you separate civilian deaths in conflict? Because Bima was big on proportionality. If 1,500 died in Supernova, only 1,500 should die in Gaza.
That's not proportionality. She doesn't know what that word means in this context. Proportionality. I'm sorry?
I'll let you go, Norma. Go ahead.
Proportionality means that the military value of a target must be commensurate with the potential collateral damage to civilians. That's what proportionality means. There is no such thing as, if you kill 10 of ours, then we kill 10 of yours. As we learned, for example, in World War II, obviously we killed far more Germans than Germans killed Brits or Americans. although we all lost a lot. The idea when the other side starts a war, as Hamas did, is to kill the other side.
Just
And it's up to them to protect their women and children. But instead, they hide behind their women and children. They plant their military assets among women and children in order to maximize the number of shaheeds or martyrs. This is a death cult that we're fighting. You dig?
I mean, your average mother, your average child. I mean, the problem is when you say death cult, that means that all their communication is essentially shahadis. I mean, I've seen their communication that they put out, and it's insane. And I just don't see any solution other than a total solution, which is the complete and total removal of all people from those areas and put it all under Israeli security control, and then essentially do a development plan. And
That's
it's
what Trump
unfortunate.
says he wants to do. I mean, Israel is not going to say that, but Israel will say the following: if you can live peacefully, you can stay. And if you pick up a gun, we're going to come and take it from you. We're not going to do it gently. We don't need to do it gently. If you declare war, we're going to beat your ass. That's a fact. And Aziz in the audience knows that, and the people of Gaza know that, and the people of Hamas know it. Hamas we've wiped out their leadership, and we've sort of cut off their supply of money. They're in rough shape right now. Israel is very serious this time. In years past, I think we've conducted ourselves a little bit less definitively, but this time it's going to be different.
I mean, do you think it's like an all or nothing solution? I mean, that I'm proposing, but from like a citizen perspective, to just know that terrorist fervor to your immediate south is an ever-present reality. I mean, maybe it's an ever-present reality everywhere. I mean, I don't know if you know Alan Watts, but he has this book called The Wisdom of Insecurity. But as as a citizen, I mean, you should demand absolute security. I mean, what are you going to work for every day? To just pay somebody's pension and salary? I mean, you want security and you want total security. Which means transparency. I mean, in Chicago, where 30 people get killed every weekend, I'm thinking like they got all these security cameras everywhere. It's like, and they have social recognition software. Identify these people, dox them, put them on a Chicago police website with their photo, with their address, with who their employer is. I mean, total surveillance.
What makes you think we're not doing that right now?
Well, it's not public. It's not on some kind of public registrar or ledger where you can identify and even receive an alert. Hey, known suspect in your area. I mean, I want surveillance and I want to be notified of potential threats in my area. I mean, I'm talking about from an American perspective, but I mean, what's the difference now? I mean, human rights are security rights, not to be killed by Islamic radical terrorists while you go to some concert. And that's a major problem. I mean, there's sleeper cells. There's individuals, who have extreme mental health disorders. They absolutely have Jewish derangement syndrome. I mean, it's all they think about. It's all they talk about. It's all the media they look at. I mean, I think Facebook and Zuckerberg has done a pretty good job in terms of scaling back the insane radical leftist terrorist propaganda and is now letting conservative speech on the platform. But it's still there. This Free Palestine scam communication bullshit should be outlawed and censored, in my opinion. I mean, I'm actually for censorship. And it's basically, if you are promoting terrorist ideology and murderous, homicidal infatuation or projection, I mean, no. Like, the algorithm has to suppress this stuff. It's inflaming people. It's causing people to act out their worst programmatic tendency. I mean, it's my opinion.
Do you think truly in your heart of hearts that people are intentionally supporting terrorism versus believing that it is a response to injustice?
What's the GDP for Pakistan?
In 2023, the gross domestic product, GDP, of Pakistan was $337.9 billion. By the way, we have a new notification. You want to hear it?
Yes.
One new notification from Amazon. U.S. National Weather Service has issued a coastal flood statement for South Slope. It'll be in effect from May 26th, 7 p.m. ET.
So, what were you asking, Bima?
Do you think that the people who are supposedly supporting Palestine or the Free Palestine movement, right? Do you think those individuals are intentionally looking to harm, destroy, and hurt versus they believe that harm, destruction has come to a people and that is the retaliation that is necessary to free and create peace for them?
I think both sides are like a mirror, but one side of the mirror is more polished than the other side, really, at the end of the day, if that makes any sense. Because I would just ask you to compress your message more. Can you make it one very short, succinct sentence? Because you have too much in there, to address, I suppose, or to think about. Can you compress it? But again, my answer would probably be it's just two mirrors. One is polished, one is unpolished. And same thing with the India Pakistan conflict. Israel is the big brother, uh, Gaza is the little brother. It's a question of great state versus small state. The Tao Te Ching addresses these topics about humility and how a great state gets on its knee or how an inferior state gets on its knee and how it wins respect. It's really advanced psychology on how to do conflict resolution and create harmony. And that's what they don't have in Gaza. In Israel, they have a book called Tanya. They have a collection of books called Torah. And these books deal with conflict resolution. Even the genocide stories of the Old Testament, I believe those are essentially stories to educate us on the now, which is peace and silence. Not silence in terms of subversion or lies through like failing to provide information. There's a term for that, disclosure, essentially, lack of disclosure. But all the information is out there, Bima. All these solutions to all these problems are out there in books. They are external programs just waiting to be infused into the human psyche of every human on the planet. But who can do that when you have to scroll up and down on TikTok for Doomsday Forever and watch a countless number of free, free Palestine, free, free, free Palestine? And then you got some cocksucker in Washington, D.C. from Chicago who responds to some Hamas propaganda message and then murders two innocent people, two beautiful people about to get married. You know, I mean, come on, Bima. Don't you see the connection between communication and killings? It's right there. That's the perfect example of how communication kills, how direct response communication kills. It's the same thing with the television advertising industry. I used to caddy for Mr. Blywas, beautiful Jewish human being who created the direct response ad. And, he made millions and millions of dollars. It's all about communication. And what we have with this conflict and many conflicts is a failure to communicate.
I like to try to understand people, right? What is it? 7 Habits of Highly Effective. Geez, I don't remember now. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, maybe, I think it is. Stephen Covey. But anyway, I don't remember if that's the name of the title. It sounds like it sounds good enough. But one of the rules is seek first to understand and then be understood. I'll just leave that there.
Well, the saying is, you can create life or death with your tongue. That's what spam is. I mean, you can come on here and you can just spam people with death messaging, or you can spam people with life messaging, which is wisdom and intelligence. Look what Aziz is saying. I mean, look at his perspective. He is programming us, and he's highly programmed. A lot of this is just relativity. It's just, but anyways, El Normo, anything you want, any positive message you want to share with us this beautiful Memorial Day?
Sure. Let's remember the brave members of the IDF who fought the war for Western civilization. People like Aziz in the audience, they look down at Western civilization. They want barbarism. They want terrorism. They want Sharia law. They want to take the world backwards. So the question is, what will win? The forces of Western civilization and enlightenment and democracy, or the forces of murder and darkness, Sharia law, terrorism, barbarism? I believe in America. I believe in Israel. I believe in justice. I believe in the light to the nation. And we'll see if the forces of good, like America, like enlightened democracies, triumph over evil, like Pakistan, like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. I mean, they have a terror group for every letter of the alphabet. Why is that? Why are there so many jihadist terror groups? Because they want to take over the world and subjugate democracies. Are we going to let them do it? I don't think so. Israel isn't. America isn't. But let's hear it for those who gave their life for freedom and democracy against the forces of people like Aziz in the audience, who want to take the world back and cover women up in beekeeper suits and create grooming gangs in England and terror groups like Hamas and the Houthis. I believe America and Israel will win. Well, you know, we have the world's biggest superpower on our side. By the way, do you want to mod me comedy? So I can. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Aziz, do you think that the world's biggest superpower is going to lose? I would bet on the moral high ground. I would bet on democracy. I would bet on the United States. But let's just see. Aziz thinks this has something to do with race, but again, he doesn't know what race he is. Do you, Aziz? You're just some vague sort of mishmash of a fake state created by England, aren't you? Isn't that true, Aziz? And now you are living a stranger in a strange land, Aziz, waiting for the world to turn against you when it said it's had enough of your grooming gangs and your terror groups. Right, Aziz?
I don't think that we have. I think we have much more in common than we don't. I think El Normo is a guy who wants peace and freedom, and I think Aziz is a guy who wants peace and freedom.
No, Aziz wants Islamic domination. He doesn't want peace. Israel has always offered the. Oh, it's true, Aziz. Of course it is. You want Islam? Didn't you just say that Europe is Muslim now? You don't listen to yourself, but we listen to you. When you say you want to destroy the state of Israel, and you want to destroy America, and you want to destroy the West, we hear you. We understand your intention. We take you seriously. The question is, do you think we're going to let you do that? Take a look at Gaza. If you bother us, and children have to die, Aziz. That's your guys who say that women and children have to die. That's what Yahya Sinwar said. He said that he wants his women and children to become shaheeds. Aziz, we will say prayers for your death. I'm going to leave that up there. God kill you if you're lying. You don't even know the truth anymore, do you, Aziz? You don't know up from down. You don't know left from right. You don't really speak English. You're a stranger in a strange land, Aziz. You don't really fit in, let's be honest. We don't have any interest in your terrorism or your grooming gangs or your lying. I hope God does give you the justice that you deserve, Aziz, and I'm sure he will. The lying is ending, Aziz. Your lies are over. It's truth time. It's time to pay the piper, Aziz. That's what's happening in Gaza. Do you think anybody wants to go put up with the terror that you guys export? You never did address that, Aziz. Why are you guys such terrorists, huh? Why do you kidnap people? You think that's okay? I don't think it's okay. And Bima, thank you for the positive things you said. And I think before October 7th, a lot of decent people believed that what you believe, that other people have the same interests. But you know what? They don't. And they say that they don't. They say that they want October 7th over and over and over. Does give you the justice to you. We're going to stop them.
I'm not sure how much of that is ingrained in the religious text to make them to believe such, right? Versus a people that are at a state of such despair and hopelessness and helplessness that they're in this state of
Well, you know what Jews do when we're in despair? We make a beautiful country, Israel. And you know what the people of Gaza did when they were in despair? They killed their neighbors. They slaughtered their neighbors. So that's the difference. I don't excuse it. It is truth time, Aziz. It's time for us, when you say death to America, we're going to stop you. We're going to find you. We're going to prevent you from killing what we hold dear. That's a fact. That's what America did in World War II against the Nazis, Aziz. The Nazis were Amalek, and Hamas is Amalek. And we're going to prevent them from hurting anybody.
I think I sense a lot of passion in your voice and in your, I think, your intent, and I definitely am there with you. I want to live free and I want to live peacefully. I'm just not convinced that the other side doesn't want that either.
Well, they don't say that they want it.
I'm not sure if they're in a position to say it.
Bima, your average taxi driver's Bima, their average taxi driver is going to say that. The radical Hamas militants are not going to say that. I mean, you got to understand that this is that the now destroyed individuals who led this ridiculous October 7th operation have been put in the ground. I mean, you have to look at it from the perspective of pirates. I don't know how to describe it any other way. These are savage, ruthless pirates that did this type of thing. I mean, these are the worst type of mafioso killers you can possibly imagine. To do what they did on October 7th is so fucking sick. I mean, they were trying to spark a regional war more than just one isolated terrorist attack. It was so vast in scale that, I mean, listen, I don't know. Conflict.
No, this is accurate comedy. They wanted to ignite the ring of fire. They wanted Hezbollah to attack from the north. They wanted the Houthis to attack from the southeast. They wanted Iran to attack, and it failed. Israel extinguished the ring of fire. Israel grew from this because it seized land defensively. When we're attacked, it gives us the right to take your land, and we're not giving it back. Maybe they'll learn their lesson this way. They clearly don't care about their own lives, but they do seem to care about their land. Hashem is pleased, Aziz. Hashem told us the following: if your enemy rises up to kill you, rise up first and kill them first. And you have risen up to kill us, and we have risen up before you and prevented you from doing your evil. You're evil, Aziz. You're evil. And we're not going to tolerate murderers on our border. Thank you for the amen, Mike. That's a fact. You're right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I don't believe that Aziz is evil.
Oh, well, he says evil things, and he does evil things. And I believe evil is as evil does. He's never said that he wanted peace. He just wants to hate Jews. They know that they hate Jews, and there's a reason why they hate the Jews. They hate the Jews because if we still exist and we still have the covenant, that means that their book is false. It means that they are not the final revelation. That they're just a sort of let's just say, a weak revision of the Torah. And it's intolerable to them. And I believe, by the way, that Muslims are monotheistic, that they do believe in the one God, but they're going to have to learn to live peacefully, or they're going to have a big problem, as you see in Gaza. That's a fact, Aziz. You can't get around it.
How do you view Trump's meeting with the head of Syria and Saudi Arabia? I mean, the guy from Saudi Arabia is now, in every country forming negotiations. I mean, how do you view peace in at least Syria, Saudi Arabia with Israel? But I mean, Lebanon.
What Trump said on his plane yesterday is that him forming deals with the Muslim nations of the Gulf and with Syria was good for Israel. And I believe him. He's gathering up the Sunni Muslims and he's getting them onto the same page to oppose Iran. The Shia forces which want to conquer the Sunni forces. And he's strengthening them and making deals and bringing them into the fold of the Abraham Accord. Syria now, by the way, Syria is in negotiations with Israel right now. They don't want to mess with Israel. Israel took out all of Syria's military assets. Yes, you're right, Aziz. You are a religious fanatic, but we're not going to let that deter us. We will not let your violent terroristic fanaticism, we're not going to let that impinge on the West, on our democracies, on our multi-ethnic, diverse ethic of equality. We don't want to live under Sharia laws, These.
Look at the projection. He says Norma's a religious zealot. He's just projecting it. Have you said anything religiously zealot? Nothing.
I'm a Jew, but I'm not a zealot.
Well, see, all communication is projection.
I think I would have to push back. I think that the why he would be saying that is
It's projection.
Using the monolith. I think I think while your intentions are good, I think your language is intentionally inflammatory, and I don't
want to inflame the fire of democracy and righteousness. That's what I want to inflame.
I think when you take any group and you group an entire people as a monolith, I think that that's one of the least spiritual and factual things that they could do. I think that it's. I think it's. Well, I think.
Nobody is a monolith.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it sounds like your language. That's what it sounds like to me. You know.
Tell me what you heard me say, and I'll tell you if it's right, or I'll correct you if you didn't hear it right.
It was pretty much everything you've said for the past 20 minutes.
Well, give me an example of something that you heard, and I'll tell you if you heard it right.
Sam, did you want to say anything?
Hi, Shalom. Yes, I want to say hi, everybody. Just heard something I want to tell you. I'm ex-Muslim. I know Islam books very, very good. 15 years YouTuber, Arab language speak YouTube. I am film what Trump, I have the video. I download the video of Trump before he tell Islam, 11 September, Islam hate us. And from the books, he's right. Why people know tell the truth? Islam, Quran, Sahih Bukhari, is what the Prophet Muhammad tell. He hate Jews, Christian, and kill them. I know the verse. It's clear. It's white. No people tell no. I know very good. I'm ex-Muslim. Don't lie to people. Be proud of your religion. Even the shuyukh, English and Arab, they tell our religion is killing Jews, killing Christian, it means American, and we take America and we take it and all the world. Jihad, many verses I know it. That's what they tell you. Me, I'm for Islam out of state, Islam out of Europe. Is okay. It's my opinion. Freedom of speech. You're speaking about Trump and Saudi Arabia and all, just to have 2 sentences. Trump, he know Arabic Saudi, they hate America. Emirates hate also Israel, but they're afraid of Iran, Shia. They're afraid, that's why, taqiyya. It's called taqiyya in Quran. Oh, love you, Netanyahu and Trump. Taqiyya, it means in Quran, it means you are in American Muslim, for example. You hate them, you want to kill them because Allah, he tell. But I do taqiyya, I tell, I love you, American. When I meet you in state, when I'm strong, I will kill you. Taqiyya, it means submission. No, you tell something, but in your heart is other thing. I love you, American, but in his heart and brain to kill you, but he cannot. He's not strong. You understand? Taqiyya.
Saying that they're big liars. They're big liars.
Yeah, liar. Yeah. You can lie in Islam in 3 cases, in war. And also taqiyya, it's saying it's in Quran. It's Islam. Islam is like this. Is in Quran. Allah, they tell them. You understand? This is the first point. The second point, Arabia Saudite and Gulf. I know geopolitically. Now they have no choice to be together with America and Israel. Why? To destroy Iran. But they think when they destroy Iran after the Gulf, they have milliards, they can destroy also, I mean, from inside with Islam, America, submission and Europe. But that's why, but they don't like Christian. I know the Quran, I know into also strategy, as you tell, comedy. I believe, yes, he wants to be destroy. Not Iran people, I mean the nuclear and infrastructure. He go with Gulf Sunnite just to attack Iran. Yes, and after he will change. You understand my idea? Both they don't taqiyya. Yeah, thank you. Mike free, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Do you understand, Aziz? You can give a thumbs up if you understand. Yeah, Sam is being honest here. So once you stop being Muslim, Sam, then you stop lying?
Sam?
Yes. No way I stopped Muslim 15 years ago. I stopped to love Hamas. I stopped to love Palestine. I stopped to hate America, France, because they colonized us. I am original from Tunisia. Then I changed. I was savage. Now I'm human. When you are in Islam, you are savage. Muhammad, in Quran, Allah, he make you savage. But when you go out from Islam, you are human. You love Jews. You love. I was in Israel, America, of course. I love France. You understand? All Muslims they hate Jews. All Muslims they want to destroy Jews. All Jews. I know, but they don't appear. They learn us when we are children in Tunisia, in Egypt, in all. You should know. Wake up, Christian and Jews. Don't let them in your country destroying your country because they are, invasion. They want to colonize and change the bigger plasma in France. It's done. Islamization is done approximately in Sweden, in Germany. In England is Afghanistan, is Kandahar for me. It's a long story. And state, until now you are controlling Muslim. When you will be more than 2% Muslim is problem. Believe me, they must be 0.5%. When they are 30%, they bam to take the country. Look, Ethiopia there are Muslims 17%. They are the other Orthodox. They take Jews. All Muslims they want to destroy Jews. All Jews. I know. First minister is Ahmed, is Muslim, and they put Ethiopia the majority Ahmed, and they are quiet. They will do the same state when they are much. Also in Sweden, also in Germany. I'm ex-Muslim and know what they do when they Islamic brotherhood, brotherhood in America. They are planning for this. Is Islam equal for me? Islam equal, ISIS equal, Muslim brother equal, Daesh equal, Shabab equal, Boko Haram. I know very good what they are planning. In Quran, they must take all the world Islam, and after even the Vatican, and after they broke the cross. Beware about this. Beware, I tell you, in books in Arab. I don't know they translate false in English. Terrorism 860. It's ترهبون عدو الله. Terrorism enemy of Allah in American and all, but they do it fight the enemy of God. Their translation is false. Many like this. Okay, thank you. Mike 3.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Those are stronger words than I would have been able to use to condemn this. I mean, clearly you know more about this than I do. So thank you very much, Sam. Thank you for sharing.
There's a lot of
Welcome. And I add something, comedy very important. Read your story, American. When 1760 like this, the first war after English army go is war with Islam. Your general, the Muslim in Algeria, North Africa, Algeria. What's name is Barbaros. Pirate Barbaros. They take all boats in Mediterranean. They take 2 boats, American lady, white, and general. He go before Washington, before George Washington. First war, he go to recuperate it was war with Barbaros, Eta Barbaros in North Africa. Read your story. The first war is against Muslim. Believe me, and the ambassador of state, he go in Libya. He speak with the minister of Eta Barbaros. He tells them in Libya, our Quran tell the verse 5, Surah 5, verse 5. He tell them our Allah to kill. اقتلوا المشركين حيث وجدتموهم. Kill no Muslim where you find them. You understand? Read your history, the true history, you'll find it. Thank you, Mike. Sam.
Okay, we have Phoenix on the stage. Phoenix, is there something you want to say?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Is that it? What the fuck?
Shut your ass off, El Normal.
Why would I do that?
Because your ass is nasty.
What do you have to do with that? Is it something that's within your brain right now? You're thinking about my nasty ass?
The Phoenix just descended from the room very rapidly. Well, happy Memorial Day, everyone. All right, it's 11:38 a.m. CST, and the date is May 26, 2025. I want to thank you all for being here. El Normo, do you have any additional positive messages you'd like to tell the room this beautiful morning, this happy Memorial Day?
Well, thank you to all of the men and women of any breed, color, nationality who died for us defending freedom on this Memorial Day. Thank you, and I hope I can be worthy of your sacrifice, and I hope I can repay it in some way. That's what I have to say, Colin.
You know, the now, in my opinion, is a compression of the past and the future. And so the most important choice now is always your communication. And that's what you say and what you listen to. And, when Moses and Aaron had to deal with God and the golden calf and the angry people, Aaron commanded them to take the gold from their ears. So part of the biggest problem with a lot of these spammers on this app is they actually get a lot of ears to look at their spam. And that's the problem with toxic communication is if you do scratch a bigot's itch, he's going to look your way. But anyways, I'm just saying that so much of the communication here is political.
Be worthy of your sacrifice. Yeah, I hear you.
I think the most important thing is not to take this app seriously. I just view it as, it's like Facebook. It's all spam. Everything is just spam. It's a question of awareness of how much time you're giving to spam, and then you can course correct and optimize your life or counteract the spam in a creative way. It's like transmutation or synergy. You have to kill two birds with one stone on this app. Otherwise, you become a victim of spam.
Yeah. Well, I don't take the app seriously, but I take myself seriously. And I try to be careful with my words. And I use this app to clarify what I think. Not unlike Hamlet in the eponymous play by Shakespeare. By articulation, I seek clarification and redemption.
I don't know if you're using X at all, but what's amazing is you can ask Grok a question right in your post. You can say, hey, at Grok, summarize this concept, summarize this link, etc. You can use AI to essentially compress communication now and also synergistically create content while you're actually using the AI chatbot to create the content. It's just kind of an innovative way to create content. But communicating with people here is also a unique experience because everybody is essentially 65 million years of evolution communicating their personality in a way, or lack thereof. And really, personality is basically large language modeling. So a lot of, again, from a native English speaker, I recognize that a lot of international speakers are here essentially running their algorithm versus our algorithm. which is our language, large language models. So it's an interesting experience to speak with non-native English speakers, but I also say that I know that the opportunity cost from consuming their spam on this app is that I'm looking at 1,000 books in front of me, and I know how much more useful a book in front of me is than actually communicating with somebody here on this app, because I'm not creating larger language models and concepts and historical frames within my own self. So that's why I say if you can use this app synergistically, there's less of an opportunity cost to using it. However, anyways, those are my thoughts. So anybody else want to say anything? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I have a quick clothing thoughts. My clothing thoughts. Yes, let's remember all of the people that have served well and honorable, grateful for the freedom that they did fight for. I think that there's also a lot of space that we can also give to the innocent civilians that have been slaughtered during war unjustly.
On his return, Americans showed their gratitude.
I think we should also
General
mourn them.
Pershing's words, it didn't hurt America to have a general so bold that he was dangerous.
The Tao, chapter 3, force is followed by loss of strength. This is not the way of Tao.
Whose 8th Air
That
Force
which goes
did so
against the
much to
Tao
ensure
will
final
soon
victory.
perish.
No unit, no
I don't
individual won the
think that
war.
we should dominate, divide, obviously simple, very basic things, but specifically when it comes to our language, the us versus them mentality, I think is very dangerous. I think we should remember that each of us are individuals first, which is the largest minority on the planet. And I think that everyone, no matter who you are, you have the right to self-defense. And that is
Soldiers,
the best thing.
ladies and gentlemen, coming over here,
You are no longer
there was a very great
on
lesson.
the defense.
The first 4 hours,
The victim. You now lost.
we passed over a destroyed land,
That leads to resistance.
utterly destroyed.
The feedback.
You who have not seen it do not know what hell looks like from the top. That's what Germany looks like. That Austria looks like. That's what any place that the 8th Air Force and the 3rd Army worked on looks like. You must remember this, that from Brest to various towns in southern Germany and Austria, whose names I can't pronounce, but whose places I have removed. The trail of the 3rd Army and the 19th Tactical Air Command and the 8th Air Force is marked by more than 40,000 white crosses, 40,000 dead Americans. You realized how deeply he felt about his men.
Initiate violent aggression and not reciprocate
Germany, with no more battles to win, Patton watched Americans compete on the playing field. Again, he saw the fighting spirit, the will to win, a quality he loved and admired, which epitomized himself. Struggle was the test of a man. War, the supreme struggle, provided the highest test.
Thank you for the air that you have for the room and how great America and be aware about. I hope not America one of those days they will like Europa, bigger plasma, Islamization, Balkanization, Afghanization. I hope not. Bye bye. Thank you very much.
Okay, so this has been the USA Memorial Day room. I threw Israel up in the title there with a sun. Anybody else in the room want to say anything? It's now 11:48 a.m. CST. And then I'm going to read something from a book and remind everybody to read a book today or tomorrow or the next day out loud. Just read it on Clown House. No need to just keep talking and talking and talking. It's not getting anybody anywhere. 5 years of spinning around. It's a dance, everybody. It's the song that never ends. Until you personally pick up a book and read it. Use the app. Flip it on its head upside down and just start using the app to read books to people. Oh, El Normo, it'll be the biggest, most exciting thing that's ever happened to you. Because then you can reprogram people here. You know, first get them into a deep meditative relaxation state, and then hypnotize them with a book, or just read them the book from the very beginning. It's just a thought. Oh, El Normo, you'll like this one. This is a treasury of Jewish maxims and aphorisms. Curiosity, the first step to betrayal. Every man thinks himself a great actor who deserves a wider audience. One woman is enough. Friendship after love is like smoke after fire. The more superb a writer, the less literary is his writing. Like society, like literature. Only that which comes with great effort is easy to read. Friendship with a woman always ends in love. One goes to the theater mainly for the intermissions. Your church is where you feel God's inspiration, not where you see the cross, walls, and stones. On your face, I sadly note the last stage of all misfortunes, boredom. Tango, a sad thought to which one can dance. One needs to learn death as we learn life. Love makes discoveries, dissipation makes inventions. Never, a silly word, one can never comprehend it. You will learn more wisdom from one wife than from 1,000 mistresses. A thief could easily come to terms with a policeman if it was not for the victim. Faith moves mountains on the backs of the faithful. Once I faked virtue, now I fake desire. An ounce of gain, a pound of envy. A friend in need is a friend indeed, but it's better to feed illusions at a good dinner. The women I dreamt of never refused me. God makes so many beautiful women, but they always scold a womanizer. Experience God's gift when you no longer need it. Who has loved 100 times does not know love. Big quarrels should be settled with little losses. More courageous is he who fears not the whip but fame. When 1,000...
Is this a picture?
No, this is a treasury of Jewish aphorisms.
Wow, they're very good. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, they are good, aren't they? I like this book. It's they're very quick little eureka moments. They're very great reflective and wise tools. When 1,000 sheep realize that they have 2,000 horns, watch out, shepherd and sheepdog. An empty head nods more easily. Do not desire your neighbor's wife in vain. Tragedy to fall in love with a face and marry the whole woman. Throw a lucky man into water and he'll surface with a fish in his mouth. Life, a lifelong death sentence. A pessimist says all women are loose. An optimist does not, but he has hopes. Fidelity, a strong itch with a prohibition to scratch. Even the most beautiful legs end somewhere. The difference between camels and men: a camel can work a week and not drink. A man can drink a week and not work. A horse has 4 legs, one at each corner. Choroba, megalomania. A new sickness, megalomania. That's megalomania, like military soldiers get medals. Conscience, that quiet voice which whispers that someone is watching. Egoist is someone who cares more for himself than me. A virtuous girl never chases after boys. Whoever saw a mousetrap chasing mice? Success, something your friends will never forgive you. Raisin, a worried grape. A flea, an insect which has gone to the dogs. Corpus delecti, a delicious body. In partibus infidelium, she is unfaithful, but only partly. Wit is a very important part of a woman's outfit. You can never be too picky when choosing parents. Nothing moves a man as much as the tears of the woman he begins to love, and nothing irritates him as much as the tears of the woman he loves no longer. Love is a dainty golden little box in which you will find a carefully prepared and concealed little bill. The most important things in life happen only once. What the shell absorbs in youth, of that it will smell in old age. The way is never long to one's beloved. Love without money, gateway to misery. A good wife is the husband's crown. Where the tail rules, the head blunders. Where the devil can't manage, he'll send a woman. Mother's voice is God's voice. She is not the mother who bears, but the one who rears. A guest in the house is God in the house. What one thinks when sober, one says one when drunk. The tavern will not spoil a good man, nor the church mend a bad one. As Jacob to God, so God to Jacob. Who digs pits under others falls into them himself. The man has not yet been born who can please everyone. Do not shoot with powder when you can shoot peas. God guards the guarded. The drowning man clutches at a razor. Better an ounce of luck than a pound of gold. The violin does not play for everyone. Money is a good servant but a poor guide. The threshold's too high for my feet. Dog barks, carriage rides on. Go into debt but make a good showing. Who wants to hit a dog will find a stick. The master's eye fattens the horse. Shake a hoe at the sun. To a wise head, 2 words are sufficient. The word flies out a sparrow, but comes back an ox. Okay, that's a treasury of Jewish aphorisms. I hope you enjoyed that. Happy Memorial Day. Okay, this will be the last brief thing I read, and then I'm going to end the room. These are the golden sayings of Epictetus. I'm just going to read 2 pages and create some YouTube videos. These are 60-second clips. I would categorize this as Greek or Roman philosophy, and I think it's pretty profound. Here we go. I think I know now what I never knew before, the meaning of the common saying, a fool you can neither bend nor break. Pray heaven I may never have a wise fool for my friend. There is nothing more intractable. My resolve is fixed. Why? So madmen say too, but the more firmly they believe in the delusions, the more they stand in need of treatment. Oh, when shall I see Athens and its Acropolis again? Miserable man, art thou not contented with the daily sights that meet thine eyes? Canst thou behold aught greater or nobler than the sun, moon, and stars, than the outspread earth and sea? If indeed thou apprehendest him who administers the universe, if thou bearest him about within thee, canst thou still hanker after mere fragments of stone and fine rock? When thou art about to bid farewell to the sun and moon itself, wilt thou sit down and cry like a child? Why didst thou hear? What didst thou learn? The meaning of the... Okay, that'll be it. This is the kingdom of God is within you. That's Luke 17:21. Okay, everybody, hope you've enjoyed this room. This has been my USA Memorial Day Israel special. Dr. Sean Malika, health, wealth, love, peace of mind, happiness, and strength. Talk to you all soon.
What are you arguing? That's my statement. What are you talking about?
No, you need huge data centers. You need huge data centers.
No.
Quite a lot of electricity.
Welcome back to Concrete Spam Special Hour, where he will spam you for an hour. Concrete never shuts the fuck up. All he does is do communication spam. Welcome to the Concrete Spam Happy Hour. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. I hope you all do well with Concrete Spam. It's nothing but communication spam. I wouldn't even call it hypnosis. I would just call it spam. Back to you, Dr. Concrete Spam.
Mentally deranged and constantly follows me around. That shit would suck, bro. Imagine a non-famous person having this many fans. It's crazy. Anyway, they definitely have books on language. You're the other guy, right? Anyway, so that's two fans for a non-famous guy. Doesn't matter that you came in, you are trolling incessantly. And it's embarrassing. Well, now that you're here, I do. There it is. Anyway, nobody cares. Like, you're annoying everybody else's entertainment. Like, everybody else is suffering because you're such a fan. Yes. Because you're such a fucking fan. You ever made me think? You're right. Okay. Anyway, so the whole point is, Michaela, if there is I'll actually PDR a book on large language models. I think I even have it in my fucking outbox or cart. That was like one of my next projects. If they can figure out what goes into them, they can figure out how to limit them, Michaela. I don't think it's a big deal.
This is what the people are saying, is that
alignment, they would have to understand. It's not alignment means being able to figure that out, and they haven't been able to do it. They've been trying for 10 or 20 years.
They haven't figured out what.
Well, bring something recent or
They haven't figured out what, Michaela.
alignment. How to align
What does that mean?
towards human values.
Oh my God.
They can't. You have to. Have you ever heard of Eliar Yukowski? He's the one who got me onto this 2 or 3 years ago. Look him up, Eliar Yukowski. He had just had a recent interview, and look up the AI 2027, and watch these presentations on YouTube, and then figure out which books you want to buy, because the books have to be very recent. And I think a book.
Welcome back to another episode of Clown House Spam Communication, where for the next 5 to 50 minutes you will be spammed relentlessly with spam. Congratulations, everyone, on participating in this spam social experiment.
This clown. You're a clown, but why can't you contribute something better than your stupidness is? You're the actual scam.
If he could, he would have. He can't.
Do you believe that is flat?
Yes, can you show us how you can have a mass of water without a container? If you believe.
Can you show me that?
Gravity, Midas. Gravity.
Did gravity change 3 times?
Yeah, can
The science of gravity.
that your mind is not flat?
Wait, hold on a second, but did the science of gravity change 3 times, and is it just a theory to this day?
Midas, you don't understand scientific theories. They are very powerful. They're almost like facts. They've been constantly, tested and approved. Theories aren't just your beliefs in the colloquial sense. They are actual, strong scientific evidence. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds great, man. I wish it was real for them. I mean, it makes them sound real stupid. I mean, right? They would say that we're supposed to follow the great philosophers of time, but they ignore Nietzsche. Nietzsche said you're supposed to ask and question everything. So we have no science to back gravity, or that a ball can have water on the surface, that you can have a mass of water without science. But even if
Can I question him? Can I question my mind? Yeah, can I question that your mind is flat?
can you first answer?
Oh, that was funny.
So make the water without a container. Answer that question. Then you go for it. Go ahead.
I think that your mind is flat. Prove me wrong.
Wait, hold on, Midas. Are you saying that we can't model water being in a place without a container?
Facts. There's no mass of water. You can't do any chemistry experiment without a container, a beaker, or some form of containment.
All right, is our atmosphere a container?
Our atmosphere will have to be contained. Because they're trying to tell us that our atmosphere is directly adjacent to a vacuum. And that means our atmosphere will not be contained.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, bro. I think this is a losing battle, irrespective of, because I actually am very sympathetic to flat earthers, but I feel like the worldwide conspiracy is hard to swallow, pause, and I feel like, I think that's pretty much it, the worldwide conspiracy. It's just very difficult to swallow.
Well, that's just a feeling, brother. We have the World Economic Forum, we have the United Nations, we have NASA. These people make $56 billion a year, so they're incentivized to lie. If it is a lie, they'll be incentivized. So if they can't show us an actual gravitational experiment, then how can we take them seriously? If everything they say they have is theory, then I can't take them seriously. They can't prove what they're saying, right?
But there's a bunch of people that agree with the theory. What do you do?
Why
take it seriously?
Authority and appealing to consensus. That's actually idiotic. If you understand Nietzsche, that's why I quote Nietzsche. Force people to prove their thoughts. But since people are low IQ, so they can't handle it.
What about all of the mathematical equations and physics and all of this stuff that supports gravity?
There are none. See, right now gravity is quantum theory. Right? It's changed 3 times. With Einstein,
No.
And then with Einstein. And now
gravity with quantum theory. You don't understand scientific theories. They are very
Stop learning science from Facebook, Midas.
What the holographic principle is.
Are you going against
Midas, do you use Facebook?
You have to have no science to back you how you act. Can you show us the experiment that keeps water on the bowl? And you can add water to that bowl?
Yeah, can I ask you something? Do you use Facebook? How many hours do you use Facebook daily?
I'm not on Facebook. Can you actually answer a question, or you just want to deflect like a little crybaby?
I'd like to interrupt here if I may. I just want to welcome you all back to your own super stupid hypnosis session where you will waste your time listening to really stupid shit. Congratulations, everyone, on wasting your time yet again and falling prey to the word hypnosis game known as Clown House. I give you back your Clown House.
It's only on Clubhouse that you get to experience the mentally ill so up close and personal. Thank you, comedy.
You mean like mine?
Having a difference of opinion isn't a sign of mental illness. Being an incessant troll, I think is a sign of mental illness. But if you think that believing that the scientific community isn't like truthful is a sign of mental illness, I would just love to know what is that illness, because what you are dealing with would also be considered a mental illness, because the consensus of the world throughout history has been agreeing with the existence of a God. But for some strange reason, you don't think you are mentally ill because of your atheism, right, Adrian? Yeah. I'll just ask you, what's the symmetry breaker between an atheist and a flat earther, such that the flat earther is mentally ill but not the atheist?
The symmetry breaker is that you're sympathetic to one of them.
Well, no, the difference is that the person who claims they're atheist has nothing to back them. Me as a flat earther, I actually have evidence and experiments to back me. He's actually using Christian science.
What's your favorite flat earth experiment?
I did it.
The curvature of the earth, obviously.
What's your favorite flat earther experiment, Midas?
The curvature of the earth, obviously.
That's clearly not answering the question I just asked.
Well, let's reframe this as a negative. Midas, what topic do you feel maybe that you are insufficient in knowledge of? What do you not actually know, Midas? What do you think you're weak in? What subject areas or topics do you think you're not really well versed in, Midas? Go ahead, Dr. Midas.
Midas, what name us a flat earth experiment?
Can you show me how you can have water outside?
Can you show us a flat earth experiment?
The rule
Experiment. Can you show us a flat earth experiment?
Yeah. I get a bowl of cereal and I can imitate Africa and Australia. Right? You know that stuff.
So you use Fruity Pebbles to represent America, and you use Cocoa Pebbles to represent Africa. But after a while, doesn't all the cereal tend to mix? And do you use whole milk or 2%, Dr. Midas?
Everyone's like repulsed by you, but they're nice to you because they know you like mentally fragile.
Yeah, right. Concrete.
You take advantage of it by being an obnoxious weirdo.
No, is that clubhouse spam, clubhouse politics, clubhouse projection? What type of spam is that exactly, Dr. Concrete?
Be so fucking obnoxious. Tone it down a little bit.
Anyways, the first flat earth experiment was it takes a cereal like anybody for some reason.
How you can have a mass of water without a container? Can you get a cup of water to drink without a cup? Go ahead.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way, Dr. Midas. Have you ever taken a sprinkler and just sprayed it up in the air and caught all the driblets and the water coming down in your mouth as it makes you all wet, Dr. Midas? Have you ever been to the park where they let the drinking fountain just run on auto and you're drinking from the drinking fountain and consider that the earth is flat and maybe you don't know the truth of the earth or the math? How does the water just keep coming out of the drinking fountain without even pushing the button? How did those mechanical geniuses get the water to flow?
It's called pressure, and that water comes from a container within the drinking fountain itself. Reservoirs, which are leading to the drinking fountain. So again, you're pointing to containers. Can you show us how you can have a mass of water, more than 1 or 2 droplets? Not
Can you repeat the cereal experiment for us?
Yeah, my cereal experiment. Anything massive. What do you have? What do you have?
Yeah, can you tell us about the cereal simulation experiment, Dr. Midas?
Can you run us through the cereal experiment?
How do you have a mass of water without a container? This is just one question.
Wait, but run us through the cereal again. Run us through the cereal experiment.
Because you're saying that round Earth exists, and round Earth is.
I didn't quite understand the cereal
It's not that complicated, dum-dum. It's not that complicated, dum-dum.
You have to go with.
Will you run us through the cereal experiment again?
Yes. Okay, what about when it
I'm asking him.
Okay.
Can you run us through the cereal experiment?
You're a chemistry experiment without a container, a beaker, and
Wait, can you give us the cereal experiment?
Why can't you figure it out? You're so dumb. Why aren't you smart?
If concrete understood it, maybe he could run it through for us.
Oh, that's gonna be
Obviously. So you get a bowl, you get a bowl, you put water in it, and you can construct the consonants with your cereal pieces, right? Now the issue is try to do that without a bowl. Go ahead.
That's an experiment?
Yes.
What is it testing?
If you get a bowl haircut at 3 p.m. on a Friday and they charging you $20 for a bowl haircut and they don't even give you the fame, I'm just asking a question here. Welcome back to another episode of Clown House Hypnosis, where people talk about anything and everything. It's a total waste of time. It's political. It's projection. It's hypnosis. And it's spam. And it's generally very low IQ. Talking about nothing and wasting all your time. Anyways, I'll give you back the mic. Thanks for listening to my little interlude. I'm going to go read a book and go to the gym. I am complete. I give you back to your spam.
Yeah, your brain deadness was too powerful for me. Yeah,
It's a very...
The brain rot has fully set in. The name of this room, bro, is called Brain Rot.
That's the smartest insult I've ever heard in my life.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Brain Rot. It's a banger. It's called Brain Rot. Welcome back to the Brain Rot. Hi, everybody. To all the brain rot sufferers out there. Welcome back to the Brain Rot. Welcome back to the Brain Rot. That's right, it's all Brain Rot.
Come on, Bob.
Well, hold on. We have to change so you can raise your hand.
Well, this is showing you a little IQ.
Can you move comedy to the goo?
It's asking about the rain clouds. So there's no container for that water. It's up in the sky, flying around. There's no container.
We're so fucking obsessed.
Welcome back to the Brain Rot. Brain Rot. Brain Rot. Brain Rot.
You want to respond to everything I say, bro? Like, get a fucking hobby. Read a book. Go play a video game or something. You obsessed weirdo.
I'm trying to ask about rain.
Sorry, Roy. I apologize. Go ahead.
Mike, what is the container that holds the rain in the sky before it rains?
The cloud itself is water vapor, right? It's a container. It contains water. You're running from the argument by running to clouds. So when the water comes from the clouds, does it come like out of a bucket or does it come in droplets? Water. And this is why your rain clouds won't help you. So can you go back to the experiment and show us how water can stay on the surface of the wall? I have a cereal bowl. Very simple. Everybody can go and get it.
What is the container?
Just fucking listen, Roy, bitch.
You don't know what evidence is.
What are you talking about?
You're a killer.
Listen, I don't get how that's funny, but that's how it is.
Evidence is this, then there's nothing.
Look, the evidence is this. Look, There's no fingerprints. There's no fingerprints on the gun. The evidence is pointing to no fingerprints being on the gun. That's what the evidence says, no fingerprints being on the gun. And they claim that they want to use the bolster it, right? Hey, a ghost did it. My evidence is there's no fingerprints on the gun. It isn't good evidence. But you know what it is? It's evidence. No, it's not.
I'm gonna create a new room. It's gonna be called Clown House Brain Rot Spam.
Niggas steady coming in. I'm on my ear, boy. Comedy pop up, boy. Let's see how funny you are.
People have put us on his YouTube. He's so irritating.
Oh, yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah, this nigga.
Okay, this is Clown House Brain Rot Spam. Did you hear them? That was funny. They like able to use not funny and spam. And she used the hard R on me. Okay, this is Clown House Brain Rot Spam.
What do you have? What do you have?
Yeah, can you tell us about the cereal simulation experiment, Dr. Myers?
How do you have a massive water without a container? This is just one question.
Wait, run us through the cereal again. Run us through the big cereal.
No, because you're saying that round Earth exists. The round Earth is
I didn't quite understand the cereal.
It's not that complicated, dum-dum. It's not that complicated, dum-dum.
You have to go with
You're going to do the cereal experiment again?
Yes. What about when it
I'm asking him. Is he going to do the cereal experiment?
You're a chemistry experiment without a container, a beaker,
Can you give us the cereal experiment?
Why can't you figure it out? You're so dumb. Why aren't you smart?
Concrete understood it. Maybe he could run it through it for us.
Oh, that's going to be
Obviously. So you get a bowl.
Poor hacks, and let them be turned out to grass. Proof is only possible in mathematics, and mathematics is only a matter of arbitrary conventions. And yet doubt is a good servant, but a bad master. A perfect mistress, but a nagging wife. White is the lash of the overseer. White is black is the watchword of the slave. The master takes no heed. The Chinese cannot help thinking that the octave has 5 notes. The more necessary anything appears to my mind, the more certain it is that I only assert a limitation. I slept with faith and found a corpse in my arms on waking. I drank and danced all night with doubt and found her a virgin in the morning. Chapter 46, Buttons and Rosettes. The cause of sorrow is the desire of the one to the many, or of the many to the one. This also is the cause of joy. But the desire of one to another is all of sorrow. Its birth is hunger, and its death satiety. The desire of the moth for the star at least saves him satiety. Hunger thou, O man, for the infinite. Be insatiable even for the finite. Thus, at the end, shalt thou devour the finite and become the infinite. Be thou more greedy than the shark, more full of yearning than the wind among the pines. The weary pilgrim struggles on. The satiated pilgrim stops. The road winds uphill. All law, all nature must be overcome. Do virtue of that in thyself, before which law and nature are but shadows. Chapter 47. Windmill Words. Asana gets rid of anatomy consciousness. Pranayama gets rid of physiology consciousness. Involuntary breaks. Yama and Nayama get rid of ethical consciousness. Voluntary breaks. Pratyahara gets rid of the objective. Dharana.
Wouldn't it be great if you could read and manage your business?
Nan-in, a Japanese master during the Meiji era, received a university professor who came to inquire about Zen. Nan-in served tea. He poured his visitor's cup full, then kept on pouring. The professor watched the overflow until he no longer could restrain himself. It is over full, no more will go in. Like this cup, Nan-in said, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup? Gudo was the emperor's teacher of his time. Nevertheless, he used to travel alone as a wandering mendicant. Once when he was on his way to Edo, the cultural and political center of the shogunate, he approached a little village named Takenaka. It was evening and a heavy rain was falling. Gudo was thoroughly wet. His straw sandals were in pieces. At a farmhouse near the village, he noticed 4 or 5 pairs of sandals in the window and decided to buy some dry ones. The woman who offered him the sandals, seeing how wet he was, invited him to remain for the night in her home. Gudo accepted, thanking her. He entered and recited a sutra before the family shrine. He then was introduced to the woman's mother and to her children. Observing that the entire family was depressed, Gudo asked, what was wrong? My husband is a gambler and a drunkard, the housewife told him. When he happens to win, he drinks and becomes abusive. When he loses, he borrows money from others. Sometimes when he becomes thoroughly drunk, he does not come home at all. What can I do? I bought some wine and fish, so you might as well have them. The man was delighted. He drank the wine at once and laid himself down on the floor.